Camera Obscura, look to the east, look to the west, album review, let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this latest album from Glasgow-based indie pop legends, Camera Obscura. They have been at it since the early 2000s, and a band that honestly took me a while to get into in my early budding days of being an indie music listener. They were certainly around, they were certainly making a lot of waves, but at the time I wasn't as into the poppier side of indie, and they just weren't a band that I was appreciating at the time. And by the time that I did come around to checking out a lot of their stuff, I felt like a damn moron because so much of it connected with me so quickly, like their debut album, Biggest Bluest Hi-Fi, or the follow-up, Underachievers, Please Try Harder. These are just so subtly sweet, just incredibly quaint and charming releases. They had an awkward charm and could write impeccable hooks, but they also, could write a good, memorable guitar riff as well. They seem for me to just be like a great sort of medium as far as this sound went. I've always thought Let's Get Out of This Country might just be their best album, and my maudlin career, while, there are some parts of it that are a little spotty as far as I'm concerned, it's still a masterfully done indie pop record. Now, the last time we heard from them was 2013's Desire Lines, an album that, I'm gonna be honest, I was not that excited by. I thought the atmosphere to this record was immaculate. The production was really good. The nods to soft rock just seemed obvious to me. But the performances this time around, the lyrics, everything about this record just seemed to be down. Now, it's been quite some time. Camera Obscura did take a long hiatus after the passing of keyboardist Carrie Lander. And this is the first studio recording that we're getting since then, this album. And I was definitely curious to hear where the band was at, so much so I decided to kind of go in blind to this album. I didn't listen to any of the singles leading up to it. And for the most part, this album's pretty standard. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. As a matter of fact, the band in a lot of ways just kind of pick up right where they left off. Take, for example, Liberty Print, this album's intro. It's a very pleasant start, it's whimsical, it's airy, very light on the ears, get used to hearing that. And I was worried at first that maybe it was a little too light for me, but the vocals of Tracy Ann Campbell on this track are absolutely immaculate. And also, this track just really picks up really nicely into a more breezy, upbeat jam. It's just so sweet and charming and fluffy, kind of like me in high school. For my money, I just think this is a really great intro and a wonderful return to form. I really love Big Love as well, even though I feel like this could be a very divisive track. But honestly, this track and its nods to all country really do rub me the right way. It's just full of life and love, and the harmonies here are to die for. I just love how sweet on the ears this track is. Yeah, it's just really adorable, honestly. And listen, I get it. It's a big leap, and if you heard this as a single from down the pipe, you might have been a little worried to hear it, but honestly, I think it's a really great single all around. Yeah, honestly, I respect it quite a bit, and the whole middle chunk of this album is actually really impressive. Like The Light Nights, for example. This track just takes me back to such a simpler time. It's upbeat, it's breezy. I really love the slide guitar as well. Everything about this, especially the divine vocals once again, just puts a big smile on my face. And you can argue that this is the band playing it safe, and to an extent, I mean, this is the classic Camera Obscura sound, but they sound really good doing it. The soloing all around as well is really nice. Really do love Sleepwalking as well. I'm gonna get to some of the later, dreamier ballads and how they do bring down this album a little bit, but this, however, is a really good one. Not only is it just so sweet and so sincere and so intimate, but the amount of heart on display during this track is just impressive. And lyrically, it is just stunning. I really feel like this track should have been a single. And the final breezier, more ambient moments are absolutely stunning, honestly. This is just a really great track. One of my favorite deep cuts here. Now listen, this is a band that means quite a bit to me, and I just wish that I could roll right up to this album and say, hey guys, everything's A-okay, and just roll on. But there are a couple of tracks here that really are not up to snuff. Like We're Gonna Make It in a Man's World, for example. This track here kind of makes me happy that I didn't listen to the singles leading up to this album. This thing is way too sleepy. I don't know, lyrically it's still very captivating, and there's moments here that are nice on the ears, but nothing really sticks for me. A lot of the same feelings on Only a Dream, and once again, that's really frustrating because the sort of psychedelic underside to this track and the atmosphere, the pristine production, that's all really cool. The nods to soft rock are nice as well, but once again, while from a distance this definitely sounds okay, you're not going to find much substance here. A ballad from a distance that sounds great is one thing. A ballad that when you look a little bit closer has nothing going on is a completely different monster. It's nice on the ears, but I can't remember any of it. And I have a lot of the same feelings on Sugar Almond. I mean, I wish I could love this track because the heart and passion, it's here. They tried. But once again, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of okay. It doesn't have that gut punch to it. Yeah, so, I mean, this is clearly not the band's boldest release in their catalog, but, I mean, for the most part, it's a totally fine release from the band. They sound, you know, like themselves, and to an extent, that's just fine. Like Baby Huey Hard Times, love this track. I mean, God, this is literally Camera Obscura going for this old school sort of 70s singer-songwriter quaint sound to it. And they do it really well between the very charming vocals and the visual lyrics and the just genuine playfulness of this track. The synths in the background are really nice as well. Denon is one of the more joyous and just absolutely adorable tracks here. It's sunny, it's sweet. I mean, go down your checklist for a Camera Obscura album and you're going to find it here. And lyrically, this is just the sort of life-affirming track that I needed to hear right now. I mean, just know that going into this track, it's one of the lightest cuts here, maybe the lightest in their entire catalog, and I do mean that. And personally, Pop Goes Pop, this is the kind of track that shows up on a Camera Obscura album and I just can't help but smile. This is them going for kind of a more power pop sound to it. It's got a little grit to it. It's probably the heaviest thing you're going to hear here. But if you're looking for a big hook, look no further. And this album's title track, Look to the East, Look to the West, really does end this album off in a very nice way. Love the visual lyrics. Just everything about this track is so elegant. I mean, lyrically, this actually might be my favorite track here. There's just such an overt beauty to this track. The band really does have so much to offer still. I mean, yeah, this isn't their biggest or boldest release, but after 11 years, I mean, it's just commendable just that they sound this solid. They sound like they haven't lost a single step. They sound like they just picked up right where they left off, and the result is a series of very quaint, very charming ballads. Don't expect anything big or bold or new here, but for the band sounding like themselves, they sound pretty damn good. I'm feeling a decent 7 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.